My college roommate Zhao Qian has a baby illness and an overflowing heart. After finishing her meal in the cafeteria, she had a lot left over, so she turned around and poured the baby's leftovers onto the school bully who was poor. As a result, the school bully got furious, and she immediately said it was my food, causing me to get beaten up by the bully. When the school organized a donation, she secretly donated all my living expenses. I went to confront her, but she spread rumors everywhere that I wanted to back out of the donation and use the money for breast augmentation, completely ruining my reputation. Later, out of an overflow of compassion, she brought a stray dog back to the dorm to take care of it. As it turned out, it was a rabid dog that suddenly went berserk and started biting people. My roommate quickly ran out of the dorm and locked me inside, leaving me to be bitten to death right before her eyes. After I died, she cried out in tears, "I told you not to bring stray dogs back to the dorm," but Zhou Ruoruo just wouldn't listen. Everyone believed her words, and I ended up dying unjustly. Opening my eyes again, I went back to the moment when Zhao Qian was about to dump the leftover food for the campus bully. When I opened my eyes again, I was sitting in the cafeteria. The surrounding noise abruptly pulled me back to reality. Before I could recover from the pain and fear of being torn apart, I stared blankly at everything around me. "Ruoruo, why aren't you eating? Don't you like it? Baby will help you eat it." As she spoke, Zhao Qian deftly picked the fried chicken leg from my meal tray. Looking at the familiar scene before me, I pinched myself hard until the real pain came. Only then did I confirm that I had been reborn. I had returned to the day when Zhao Qian dumped her leftovers onto the school bully from a poor family. Before my eyes, Zhao Qian's mouth was stuffed full, a smile spreading across her face. "I absolutely hate wasting food. If there's anything else you don't like, I'll help you finish it." As she spoke, she reached for my fish on the plate again. I quickly moved the plate out of her reach. Before, she would always not buy any meat dishes herself, then pick the meat she wanted to eat from my plate, thinking we were roommates. I didn't mind, but in this life, I won't tolerate it anymore. As the plate was taken away, Zhao Qian's hand hung in midair, and she snorted coldly, "What's the big deal? It's just trying a little of your food. I have a small appetite and won't eat much anyway." Beside her, Wu Yan immediately stepped in to smooth things over. "Ruoruo, don't be so stingy. Let Qin Qin have a taste. It's no big deal." I looked at the meat on her plate and raised the corner of my mouth. Sure. Picking up my chopsticks, I directly gave it to Zhao Qian. "Eat more." Zhao Qian immediately beamed. "Thank you, Wen. Baby loves you the most." Wu Yan glared at me. "That's my fish, Zhou Ruoruo. How could you?" I blinked my eyes, looking utterly confused as I spoke. "What? Are you unwilling to let our dorm's baby eat fish? How could the baby not have fish to eat?" Hearing this, Zhao Qian turned to look at her, wearing a pitiful expression. Wen, do you really not want the baby to eat fish?" Wu Yan's face darkened as she forced out a smile. "Of course not." Wu Yan loved to make sarcastic remarks the most. Every time Zhao Qian wanted to eat my food, she was the most generous. "Ruoruo, what's the big deal if you bought so much and let Qian have a little? Ruoruo, we're all good friends. We should learn to share. Now that I've shared it myself, why am I not happy anymore?" I lowered my head and ate, unable to help but sneer inwardly. After dinner, Zhao Qian looked at the oily leftover rice in her plate, troubled. "Baby doesn't like wasting things. What should we do? There's still so much oil left. Throwing it away would be such a waste." Suddenly, she caught sight of Zhang Yufei, the school bully. Beside her, an idea struck her all at once. "Is Zhang Yufei a poor student? He probably doesn't get enough to eat usually. Baby wants to give him baby's leftovers, too." In my previous life, I tried desperately to persuade her. "These are all leftovers. They look like a mess. How is anyone supposed to eat them?" But Zhao Qian acted like she couldn't understand human language. "Baby leftovers aren't dirty. Baby loves being clean. I brush my teeth every day. Besides, Zhang Yufei is a student from a poor family, so giving him the leftovers is for his own good. Since he's already a poor student, what is there to be picky about? Baby is willing to give him leftovers. He should be grateful to baby." I grabbed her and wouldn't let her go. "Don't go, otherwise, he'll get angry." Just as I finished speaking, Zhao Qian shoved me to the ground. "You're such an unloving person. You don't even have any compassion yourself. And you're stopping the baby from showing compassion too. How annoying." After saying that, she picked up her tray and ran over to Zhang Yufei. With a splash, she dumped all the leftover food from her tray onto Zhang Yufei's tray. Zhao Qian spoke in a coy, affected voice. "As a student from a poor family, are you always hungry every day? Eat more." Immediately, Zhang Yufei put down his chopsticks. His face darkened, picked up the tray and slammed it hard to the ground, then moved close to Zhao Qian. "What are you talking about?" As he spoke, he clenched his Fist seeing this, Zhao Qian immediately said with red-rimmed eyes, "I'm sorry, that was my roommate's leftover food. She said it would be wasteful to throw it away, and since you're a poor student, I figured you wouldn't refuse it." As she spoke, she shoved me forward. "Ruoro, I already told you not to give leftover food to the needy students. Why didn't you listen and force me to come over? You're being disrespectful to the needy students." After saying that, she turned around and hid far away. I took a few steps back. It wasn't me, that was her food, but the school bully had already lost patience and kicked me in the stomach, sending me flying far away. It really wasn't me, Yan, you know that. I looked at Wu Yan for help. Zhao Qian hid behind her, sobbing, and Wu Yan shook her head at Zhang Yufei. "I don't know." The school bully got even angrier and decided I had ordered them to do it. So he pinned me to the ground and beat me for more than 10 minutes. I was beaten so badly that I ended up in the hospital. Thinking of this, I clenched my fists tightly, my nails digging into my palms, but I didn't feel any pain. I deliberately said, "Zhao Qian, your leftovers are so dirty. What do you mean by letting someone else eat them? Do you think poor students are inferior? Are you looking down on others?" Zhao Qian pouted. "They're already poor students, so what's there to be particular about? Baby is giving him food, and he should be grateful to Baby, and besides, the baby's leftovers aren't dirty at all. A poor student may have even eaten garbage before." After saying that, she carried her tray and left. I tilted my head up and curled the corners of my mouth slightly. Just like in my previous life, she dumped all the leftovers into the tray Zhang Yufei was eating from. In a fake soft voice, she said, "As a student from a poor family, are you not hungry every day? Eat more." As soon as she finished speaking, I immediately ran up and shouted at her angrily, "Zhao Qian, how can you dump your leftovers into someone else's plate? That's disgusting. Who would want to eat your leftovers?" "Apologize." Zhao Qian looked aggrieved. "That's the baby's leftovers. It's not dirty. This baby brushes its teeth every day." I looked up and saw anger blazing in Zhang Yufei's eyes as he stared fixedly at Zhao Qian. I let out a long sigh of relief and quickly retreated to the back. Seeing Zhang Yufei stand up with clenched fists, Zhao Qian panicked at once. She raised her finger and pointed at me. I didn't want to do it at first. It was my roommate, that was her leftovers. She forced me to do it. Zhang Yufei turned his head and looked me over, and I immediately took out my phone, opened the video, and held it up in front of him. In the video, Zhao Qian spoke with a face full of disdain. "Since he's already a poor student, what's there to be picky about? Baby gave him food, and he should be grateful to Baby, and besides, the baby's leftovers aren't dirty at all. A poor student may have even eaten garbage before." At once, the surroundings fell silent. The air around Zhang Yufei grew icy. Zhao Qian turned her head and glared at me bitterly. "Zhou Ruoro, how could you secretly film and take videos?" Zhang Yufei abruptly slammed the dinner tray to the ground. Zhao Qian apologized with reddened eyes. "I'm sorry, Baby didn't do it on purpose. Baby was just being too kind. If you don't want to accept help, then forget it." As soon as she finished speaking, she was kicked flying by the school bully. The school bully's fist landed on her face even harder than in her previous life. Looking at this familiar scene, I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh and turned to leave the restaurant. This time, for what she owed me, I was going to make her pay it back double. For Zhao Qian was admitted to the hospital, and my campus life finally quieted down for a while. During this time, I went to my advisor to apply to change dormitories, because approval is very slow. We can only wait a while longer. Not long after, the school organized everyone to donate money and show their support for sick children in the mountainous areas. Zhao Qian, as the class welfare committee member, was responsible for collecting the money, and it had to be submitted in full within 3 days. As soon as she received the news, Zhao Qian immediately sent a message in the class group chat. "I think everyone should have a little more compassion, and be sure to donate actively. As long as we can be a little less extravagant and wasteful, we can give sick children a little more hope." Evening, Zhao Qian returned from her hospital stay. She limped back into the dormitory. Seeing me sitting at the desk studying, she hobbled over, picked up my book, and threw it to the floor. "Zhou Ruoro, do you have to study so late at night? Do you know that every extra kilowatt hour of electricity you waste means one less chance for children in impoverished mountainous areas to see a doctor? I really can't stand it. How can there be someone as wasteful as you?" Wu Yan also chimed in from the side. "Ruoro, stop studying. Why pretend to work hard? You didn't study during the day, and now you insist on messing with our heads at night. Do you just hate seeing other people get a good rest?" In my previous life, I really felt guilty after hearing them say that, and I studied in the library until closing every day. When I went back, I felt too embarrassed to keep studying. In the end, Zhao Qian herself turned around and used a high-power hairdryer, an electric rice cooker, and a nail lamp. It's just that she won't let me study in the dorm. As soon as I start studying, she runs over and switches off the lights with a snap. Baby, you're not allowed to waste electricity. Looking at Zhao Qian, I frowned. Are you really trying to save electricity? Zhao Qian nodded. Yeah. I stood up, dug out a pile of her prohibited electrical appliances, and headed out. Sure. I'll help you turn in these high-power appliances to the dorm supervisor, Zhao Qian froze and hurriedly rushed to stop me. No, without my baby hairdryer, I'll get sick after taking a bath. If there's no rice cooker, the baby will go hungry. I ignored her and quickly walked to the dorm supervisor's door. Auntie, my roommate has a prohibited appliance. She said she wants to save electricity from now on, so please keep it for her. The aunt took it and kept praising me. Such a nice girl, so well behaved. What's your roommate's name? Zhao Qian stood in the distance, glaring at me with resentment, but she didn't dare go get the appliances back herself, because they were all prohibited items. As soon as I got back to the dormitory, I suddenly discovered that my drawer had been searched. The 4,200 yuan in the drawer was gone. 5. In my previous life, it wasn't until the donation deadline that I discovered the money in my drawer was gone. I immediately contacted the counselor, and only then did I find out that Zhao Qian had secretly taken my money and donated it all. For me, I questioned her why she had stolen my money. As a result, she said with complete righteousness, baby just thinks people should have compassion. You're obviously so rich, yet you only donated 500. What exactly is wrong with you? This baby is helping you donate money for your own good, to do good deeds and accumulate virtue. I shouted angrily, that was my money. What right did you have to secretly donate it for me? Zhao Qian immediately put on a pitiful look and deliberately asked me, in front of the class, Zhou, are you trying to take back your donation? That money was only meant for your breast augmentation, but it's the hope of sick children in the mountains. Are you really going to stand by and watch them die? Upon hearing this, everyone looked me up and down with contempt, as if I had committed some unforgivable crime. I explained that it was my living expenses, not money for breast enhancement, but no one believed me. Looking at the mess of a drawer in front of me, I said coldly, who went through my things? Zhao Qian sat on the bed humming a little tune, her face full of smug satisfaction. Wu Yan was scrolling on her phone, laughing loudly as if nothing had happened. I immediately picked up my phone and called the counselor. Teacher Li, our class fund has been stolen, for 200 yuan, we just paid it in today, and it was lost in the dorm. After saying that, the counselor immediately called Wu Yan and Zhao Qian to ask about it. As a result, both of them said they had never seen it. With red eyes, I said, that money isn't mine. If you've seen it, could you please take it out? I really have no way to explain myself. Seeing this, Zhao Qian snorted coldly. What do you mean by that? Who would even care to take your money? Wu Yan, exactly, who cares? After that, Zhao Qian sent another message in the class group, urging everyone to donate. Baby has only received donations from a few people. Everyone, please donate actively. If it's less than 100, don't embarrass yourself. Baby can't even bear to record it for you. Donating isn't about giving alms to a beggar, so please take the initiative to donate a bit more, otherwise, baby will have to. At people in the group, many people, under pressure from Zhao Qian, donated several hundred yuan. 3 days later, the donation period ended, and I immediately posted a solemn apology in the class group. I'm sorry. The class fund I collected was lost. Teacher Li has been helping me look for it, but we still haven't found it, and on the posted donation list, my name was clearly marked as having donated 4,700 yuan. At the class meeting, I rushed up to Zhao Qian and demanded, why did you write that I donated 4,700 when I only gave 500? Zhao Qian lifted the corners of her mouth smugly. Baby just thought you were too selfish, so I helped you donate the money from your drawer. This baby is helping you donate money for your own good, to do good deeds and accumulate virtue. Everyone's gaze turned toward us, scrutinizing us. I pinched myself hard and squeezed out tears. I could have forgiven you for secretly taking my money, but that was the class fund from all our classmates. How could you decide for everyone and secretly donate the class fund? Have you asked everyone for their opinions? As soon as the words fell, the classroom immediately erupted into noise. 6. What? The class fund was donated? Are you crazy? No. Why did she secretly donate the class fund? Did she get our permission? Seeing this, Zhao Qian immediately panicked and hurriedly defended herself. Bao didn't know that was the class fund. She never told Bao. Bao even thought it was Zhou Ruoro's money for breast augmentation, who told her not to keep her money properly. She deliberately emphasized the words breast augmentation. This time, there were no longer the disdainful looks I had received in my previous life. Instead, there were more resentful looks directed at Zhao Qian. Originally, once Everyone got to college, no one wanted to pay class dues, but because an event had to be organized, each person paid more than 100 yuan. The resentment was overwhelming. Now the class fund has been lost, and we may have to pay again. At this moment, the counselor walked into the classroom. Zhou Ruoro, have you found the class fund? I walked over and pointed at Zhao Qian. She stole it and donated it all. In my previous life, after I discovered the money was missing, I wanted to call the police. But because the money lost was my own, everyone advised me to let it go quietly. They said reporting it to the police would be bad for the school's reputation, and strictly speaking, it didn't count as theft, because the money was donated in my name. I asked Zhao Qian to return my money, and she took it for granted that she had no money. If I pushed her any further, she'd jump off a building. Everyone else tried to talk me into letting it go and being merciful. I could only swallow the loss in silence. This time, the class fund was lost, and everyone was furious. The counselor walked over and stared at Zhao Qian. What exactly happened? Zhao Qian's eyes were red, her voice choked with emotion. Sorry, baby didn't know that was the class fund. Baby just thought Zhou Ruoro was being way too heartless, so I wanted to help her by donating some of my own kindness, but in the end I accidentally donated the class fund. People around started chattering noisily. If you wanted to help her by showing some kindness, you should have paid out of your own pocket. Honestly, why steal the class fund? Give our money back. Yes, give our money back. Zhao Qian spoke pitifully. The baby's money has all been donated, and the baby doesn't have any money either. I took out that donation list. Zhao Qian, 20 yuan. She herself only donated 20, yet she had previously forced everyone to donate several hundred. After the students in the class found out, they became even angrier. They surrounded Zhao Qian tightly. Pay it back, or call the police. If you don't return the money, it's theft. Zhao Qian looked at me through the crowd with a pleading expression. Ruoro, please help baby explain. Baby just wanted to help you show some love and give to charity, with no ill intentions. I ignored her. Zhao Qian then turned her gaze to Wu Yan. Wen. It was you who said back then that baby should help Zhou Ruoro donate the money and teach her a good lesson. Baby meant well in the first place, but everyone misunderstood baby. Hurry up and help baby explain. Hearing this, Wu Yan's face immediately turned dark, afraid of being dragged into it herself. You stole money. What does that have to do with me? I didn't know you were dishonest. Zhao Qian looked at Wu Yan in shock, but it was clearly you who said it. Wu Yan turned her head away, acting as if it had nothing to do with her. The counselor frowned. Zhao Qian, hurry up and return everyone's class fees to them. Otherwise, if everyone insists on calling the police, I can't help you either. In the end, Zhao Qian took out her phone. She borrowed 4,200 through an online loan to make up for everyone's class fee. 7. As soon as she got back to the dorm that night, Zhao Qian was infuriated. She picked up the dormitory's shared items and smashed them hard, cursing the whole time as she did. They all bully baby, bully baby. Is it really worth it over just a few thousand yuan? Who cares about the money of that bunch of stingy tightwads? Zhao Qian has a bad habit. When she gets angry, she likes to throw things, and she always ends up breaking the dorm's shared items, things like brooms, dustpans, shower heads, and stools. Anyway, they don't cost much. When they break, we just buy new ones. Sometimes she accidentally breaks my water cup or face cream, and she doesn't pay for them either. She just apologized with red-rimmed eyes. I'm sorry. When the baby gets angry, she really thinks that's her own stuff. The baby couldn't help it. The baby didn't mean it. If you want, just take the baby's face cream away. As she spoke, she handed me her face cream, which cost just a few yuan a bottle, with red-rimmed eyes, as if that made us even. But my face cream cost several hundred yuan. Thinking she was my roommate and that we still had nearly 4 more years of living together, I forced myself to put up with it. Today Zhao Qian had just thrown down the broom. I suddenly noticed that Wu Yan's newly bought perfume was sitting by the sink, so I picked it up and smashed it hard onto the floor. At once, a strong fragrance wafted over. I couldn't help but frown. Lying on the bed, I saw the dorm transfer approval notice the counselor had just sent me, and I was overjoyed. I quickly thanked the counselor. Without realizing it, Wu Yan and Zhao Qian had already started fighting below. Zhao Qian tightly yanked at Wu Yan's hair. If it weren't for you urging Bao Bao to donate several thousand yuan, would Bao Bao have lost so much money? Give the money back to Bao Bao. Wu Yan also reached out and grabbed Zhao Qian's hair, giving it a hard yank that made Zhao Qian cry out in pain. The hands are on you yourself. What does it have to do with me that you stole the money? You call yourself a baby every day. Isn't that disgusting? You're really stupid. Pay me back for my perfume. I lay on the bed, looking down at the two of them as they pulled each other's hair and cursed at each other, unable to help but curl up the corners of my mouth. It wasn't until half an hour later, after the two of them had smashed each other's belongings to pieces and had nothing left to throw, that they finally stopped. The two of them stood there with patches of hair torn out, and neither of them would speak to the other anymore. Watching the dog-eat-dog scene, I curled up the corners of my mouth and drifted off beautifully to sleep amid the chaos. A night of sweet dreams. 8. The next day, I got the key to my new dorm room. Taking advantage of Zhao Qian and Wu Yan being away from the dorm, I found other friends to help move my things to the new dorm. The new dorm was in the neighboring dorm building, a dorm for another major, and it was occupied by two girls. They were both little friends I had met in school clubs, and both were very easy to get along with. In just half a day, I quickly packed up my things and ran off. That night, after she found out I had changed dorms, Zhao Qian's moments was full of snide remarks. Moving to mess with other people now. This baby doesn't care about being your roommate anyway. Scram, scram, scram. Soon, Wu Yan liked the post below. I sneered inwardly. What a pair of extraordinary people. A few days later, I was about to head back to the dormitory. Suddenly, I saw Zhao Qian holding a filthy stray dog in her arms. She covered the dog with her jacket, covered its mouth, and avoided the dorm supervisor Auntie. Sneaking furtively, she made her way toward the dormitory. In her previous life, on this very day, she secretly brought back to the dormitory a very dirty large stray dog. Then she took many photos and posted them online, with the caption, "Baby is the most compassionate person. I hope baby will have the chance to give every stray dog a home in the future." Many people liked it, praising her for being beautiful and kind-hearted. She became utterly addicted to the praise she received online and couldn't pull herself away looking at the dirty dog. I said in displeasure, "Why did you secretly bring back such a filthy dog? It might even have some disease." At that, Zhao Qian shot me an angry glare. "This is a living life. How can you be so heartless? Baby will take good care of it and raise it into the happiest little dog in the world. And besides, a lot of bloggers rescue stray dogs and get tons of traffic. Baby is no worse than them, so we'll definitely get even more traffic." Looking at the dog, which was huge and kept baring its teeth, I felt a chill run through me. No matter how I looked at it, that dog was not normal. It always bared its teeth, with long strands of drool hanging from the corners of its mouth. It's always baring its teeth and drooling. It's not some mad dog, is it? Where on earth did you find this dog? It looks so scary. I was terrified when I looked at that dog and wanted to climb up onto the bed above. Zhao Qian yanked her down at once. "Zhou Ruoro, you're not allowed to run. You have to help baby wash it together. Baby can't hold it down by itself. You can't be so selfish and cold-hearted. It's baring its teeth only because it doesn't feel safe. As long as we nurture it with love, it will definitely become more obedient." After saying that, she turned around to get a basin and draw water to bathe the dog. The dog's long fur was matted together all over, making it look a complete mess, and its eyes were fixed on people with a hard, piercing stare. I was terrified and got up, preparing to leave the dormitory. Zhao Qian grabbed me again. "Zhou Ruoro, what's wrong with you? Don't even think about slacking off." Just as the two of us were struggling with each other, suddenly, the dog opened its huge mouth and lunged at us. Zhao Qian froze in fear. I grabbed Zhao Qian and was about to run with her, but she suddenly shoved me hard. I fell to the ground, blocking the mad dog, and it pounced on me at once, bite down hard on my neck. Zhao Qian turned and ran out the door. The mad dog kept tearing at me while making whining sounds, a very typical rabid dog. I used all my strength to smash with my fists and kick with my feet. After much effort, the dog finally loosened its grip, and I staggered toward the door. As it turned out, just as I reached the dormitory door, Zhao Qian suddenly locked it. She was gripping the door tightly, terrified of getting caught up in it herself. I pounded on the door desperately. "Help, open the door." She frowned. "Baby is scared. Baby has already called the police, and someone will come to save you soon." The mad dog lunged at me again, biting and tearing at my leg, even more ferociously than before. I was locked in the dormitory and bitten to death by the mad dog alive. Thinking of everything from my past life, I took a deep breath and turned back to the dormitory. In this life, she would just keep the mad dog company herself. 9. On the other side, in the dormitory, Zhao Qian put the dog down and took off her coat. She disgustedly touched the dirty dog fur. Just like in her previous life, Zhao Qian took many photos of the dog and posted them online, with the caption, "Baby is the most compassionate person. I hope baby will have the chance to give every stray dog a home in the future." Many people liked it, praising her for being beautiful and kind-hearted. She hummed a little tune as she basked in the praise from netizens. She put the dog on the dorm room floor. She picked up the phone and called me, launching straight into insults. "Honestly, of all times for you to move out of the dorm, you had to do it now. Baby rescued a dog. How is baby supposed to wash it all by themselves? You cold-blooded animal, come over and help baby right now, or baby will post you online." I hung up the phone right away. "Post me online? Do you even have the chance?" Zhao Qian glared at the disconnected phone and cursed a few times before turning and going into the bathroom. She took out Wu Yan's wash basin and filled it with a lot of warm water. In my previous life, She used my basin because she said her own baby basin was too small. She needed a bigger basin to bathe the dog so it could be cleaned properly. I thought it was dirty, so I just gave her the basin directly. She happily grabbed my hand. Thank you for accepting it. Both the baby and the dog will be grateful to you. After using Wu Yan's basin to get some water, Zhao Qian walked out of the bathroom. Looking at the lonely and forlorn figure of the dog, she immediately felt a pang of sympathy. She picked up the dog and said affectionately, "Luckily the baby has a kind heart. Or who knows how long you'd still be wandering around. Come on, give mommy a kiss." As she spoke, she leaned her face closer. The dog suddenly opened its huge mouth and lunged at her like a mad thing. Zhao Qian stood frozen in place from fright. The dog lunged at her and bit viciously into her face. Zhao Qian cried out in pain and turned to run, but tripped over the clothes on the floor. The dog clenched its jaws and tore at Zhao Qian's face from side to side. Tears streamed from Zhao Qian's eyes in pain. She reached out and desperately beat at the mad dog. "Beast, beast, don't bite the baby, get lost, get lost." Dog simply can't understand human words. As soon as she let go, it immediately bit down hard on her leg again, tearing at her as it bit. Zhao Qian lay on the ground, desperately crawling toward the dormitory door. Just as she reached the doorway, Wu Yan came back. Zhao Qian was instantly overjoyed. Wen, hurry and save me. This is a mad dog. I'm going to be bitten to death." As soon as the words left her mouth, Wu Yan slammed the dormitory door shut. Standing quietly outside the door, she watched her coldly. Zhao Qian slammed at the door like a madwoman, only to meet Wu Yan's gleeful gaze. By the time the counselor arrived, the dog had already run out of strength, and Zhao Qian had also fainted. Before Zhao Qian was carried onto the 120 ambulance, as she passed by Wu Yan, she suddenly opened her eyes and, using all her strength, grabbed Wu Yan and bit down on her arm. Then he curled the corners of his mouth, revealing an enigmatic smile. I stood in the distance, quietly watching this scene, my heart calm as still water. The evil she had sown finally bore bitter fruit. Not long after, the dog died from a rabies outbreak, and Zhao Qian went to the hospital, but still couldn't be saved. It's said that after hearing the news, her parents fainted from crying several times at the hospital entrance. Now they've come to the school again, wanting the truth. That was my baby. How could you not save her when she was bitten? She was so kind, so caring. How could she die? Looking at the two people before me, their temples already streaked with gray, I felt a pang of sorrow. In my previous life, after I was bitten to death by a mad dog, Zhao Qian broke down in tears in front of everyone. I already said not to bring a stray dog back to the dorm, but Zhou Ruoro just wouldn't listen. In the end, she ended up causing her own death. Pitiful. Yet she had it coming. My parents didn't believe it, because I had always been afraid of dogs, and there was no way I would bring a stray dog back to the dorm. They went everywhere trying to stand up for me and seek justice, but in the end they were treated like lunatics and driven out. They found Zhao Qian, only wanting to know the truth, but Zhao Qian knelt down in public. "Sorry, baby really didn't know that was a mad dog. If I had known earlier, baby would definitely have stopped Ruoro and not let her secretly take the dog home." Everyone believed her lie. Group of her brainless fans ran to cyberbully and dox my parents. My parents were driven insane by my death. Suddenly, someone grabbed my arm. My thoughts snapped back to the present. Zhao Qian's mother was holding on to me, tears streaming down her face. "You're Zhou Ruoro, my baby's roommate, right? How did my baby end up being bitten by a mad dog?" I shook my head. "Sorry, I've already moved out of that dorm. I don't know about her situation." After saying that, I turned and walked away from the crowd, no longer wanting to be involved in anything related to Zhao Qian. A few days later, someone said that Zhao Qian's parents had gone mad. They would call everyone baby, saying they wanted to take others to use baby bowls, eat baby food, and sleep baby sleep. Two people, acting crazy, are searching everywhere for their loving baby. 11. In a daze, suddenly, the class group chat exploded with messages. I clicked in and saw in the photo that Wu Yan was lying on the ground, her body twisted. She gritted her teeth tightly, her body contorted. Glaring with fury, she stretched out her hands, scratching her skin all over, appearing to be in extreme agony. She looked exactly like someone infected with rabies. Presumably, the bite Zhao Qian gave before she died had taken effect. Is this rabies? Damn, that looks terrifying. Is it because of the bite from Zhao Qian? Oh my god, that's so scary. Luckily Zhou Ruoro moved out of that dorm. What a bunch of weirdos. Yeah, why did you bring a mad dog back to the dorm? Everyone chattered away. I turned off my phone, took out a book, spread it open on the desk, and quietly began studying under the desk lamp. Seeing me studying, my two roommates on the adjacent bed put on their headphones and quietly started playing with their phones. Late at night, as they were getting ready to sleep, they noticed I was still studying. Without hesitation, they left a light on for me. I stood up, turned off the light, and continued memorizing the key Points under my own desk lamp outside the window. There was a profound silence inside. A lamp illuminated not hostility or malice, but tolerance and concession. It was about time, so I turned off the desk lamp and lay down on the bed, a night of sweet dreams. After moving into the new dormitory, everyone got along very well. They will study hard with me, and they will quietly put on their headphones when I am studying. We also share food with each other when we eat. My mood gradually improved, I know. Longer waste energy questioning whether I am just pretending to work hard, whether I am not generous enough, or whether I am pushing myself too hard. I can study whenever I want and for as long as I want. The next day, just woke up and saw the group chat in the class blowing up. Wu Yan passed away last night due to rabies infection. Seeing this news, I didn't feel the satisfaction of revenge. Only that life is truly fragile. I packed my things and said goodbye to my roommate, walking towards the classroom under the rising morning sun. Golden light shines on my face, and I gently squint my eyes, with a smile curling at the corners of my mouth. The air is fresh, the autumn breeze is pleasant, and there is a wonderful youth waiting for me to experience. Everything is just right, and it's not too late. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see in the college entrance exam. As I prepared to fill in my name, a line of blood-red bullet comments suddenly floated before my eyes. Doris, look, your sister swapped your admission ticket. Quickly tell the invigilator. My finger paused slightly, and a cold smile played on my lips. Then, ignoring the bullet comments, I steadily wrote down the name Doris, because I know, in my last life, this very bullet comment ruined my life. The bullet comments continued to pop up, and memories began to flood back like a tide. Exactly 1 year ago today, the same exam hall. The same bullet comment warning. I panicked and raised my hand to report to the invigilator. The police intervened and investigated, and my sister's and my admission tickets were swapped back on the spot. Everyone praised me for being alert, but they didn't know that was the beginning of a nightmare. On the day the results were announced, I, who usually scored over 700 in mock exams, only got 350, while my sister Valerie, who couldn't even reach the third-tier university cutoff, got into Harvard. The huge disparity in scores sparked heated discussions across the internet. Netizens dug up our usual transcripts and found that I was the top student, and my sister was the poor one. The real top student is actually me. Valerie, in front of the camera, tears streaming down like pear blossoms, said, my sister always took my place in every exam. Only in the fair competition of the college entrance exam was her true ability revealed. My best friend Sherry was the first to step forward and testify. Doris always cheated in regular exams. We all saw it with our own eyes. As she spoke, she took out her phone and showed a few blurry photos. The person in the photos did look like me, flipping through cheat sheets under the desk. The whole class echoed their agreement, and even the homeroom teacher hesitated before admitting that such situations did indeed occur. The most devastating blow came from my mother. In an interview, she said with deep anguish, this child just plays games. When she comes home, and curses constantly, I can't control her. I wanted to clarify, but my mother slapped me across the face. Do you want to ruin your sister? At worst, you can just repeat a year. No one knew about those 4 a.m. desk lamps, those worn-out notebooks, those days spent secretly reading under the covers with a flashlight. When I insisted on proving my innocence, my mother pushed me down the stairs. Classmate, please focus on answering the questions. The proctor's voice brought me back to reality. Only then did I realize my hand was trembling slightly, and the pen tip had already made a small black dot on the answer sheet. I took a deep breath and began to answer seriously. The bullet comments were still flashing. Silly girl, your sister swapped your admission ticket. I'm so anxious. Why aren't you moving? It's over. It's over. This kid is beyond saving. I turned a deaf ear to it. Writing with swift and vigorous strokes. In my previous life, I scored 148 points in the Chinese language exam, with the answers to every question etched in my memory. As for the essay, I could almost recite it word for word. After all, it was an experience I gained through blood and tears. The exam bell rang, and as I handed in my paper and walked out of the exam hall, my sister Valerie immediately came up to me, wearing an exaggerated look of concern. How did it go, sis? I noticed she had deliberately styled her hair in the same ponytail as mine today, even wearing the same hair clip. Not bad. The questions weren't too difficult. I pretended to answer casually, but my eyes were fixed on the transparent document folder in her hand, identical to mine. She noticed my gaze, and her fingers unconsciously tightened a bit. There wasn't anything wrong with the admission ticket, was there? I tilted my head, looking bewildered. Admission ticket, what could be wrong with it? A flicker of secret delight crossed her eyes, then she quickly hid it. Nothing, just asking, just Then, Mom suddenly squeezed through the crowd, a rare smile on her face. "How did you two do on the exam?" Her gaze shifted back and forth between me and my sister, finally settling on my sister. "Mom," my sister immediately linked arms with her. "I think I performed really well. I'm sure I did great on the exam." She deliberately raised her voice, drawing the attention of other parents around us. I also put on a well-behaved smile. "Me too. I finished all the questions. It should be fine." When Mom heard my words, her brow furrowed almost imperceptibly, but she still happily patted both of our shoulders and said, "That's great. Come on, I'll treat you to a big meal. Keep up the good work this afternoon." She walked ahead with her arm around my sister, and I silently followed behind. I pretended not to notice, quickly walked up, and affectionately took my sister's hand, saying, "Let's go. Hurry up and finish eating. We still have math this afternoon." I could feel my sister's arm stiffen. For a moment, math is my strong suit, and as I smoothly wrote down the answer to the last big question, the live comments had shifted from initial anxiety to confusion. "Why is this kid so calm? Does she know something we don't?" Of course I know. Sure enough, on the last day of exams, as soon as I walked out of the exam hall, my sister couldn't wait to lay her cards on the table. "Sis," actually, she bit her lip, looking as if she was struggling to say it, "we accidentally mixed up our exam admission tickets." As she spoke, she even pretended to wipe away non-existent tears from the corner of her eye. I widened my eyes. "What do you mean?" I deliberately let my voice tremble slightly. "It's just, I've actually been using your exam admission ticket these past few days." Her voice grew softer and softer. "You won't blame me, will you?" She looked up, a cunning glint in her eyes. The comments section erupted in angry curses. "Shameless, deliberately swapped and still claiming it was a mix-up. Doris, quickly expose her." I stayed silent for a few seconds, then forced a smile. "It's fine, we're twins after all. We look alike, at worst. I'll just take the exam again next year." I lowered my head, pretending to be upset. My sister's eyes lit up, and she immediately rushed over to hug me. "You're the best, sis. I knew you wouldn't be mad." Her hug was tight, as if declaring victory. When we got home, Mom had already prepared a table full of delicious dishes. As soon as my sister entered the door, she excitedly exclaimed, "Mom, I'm sure I can get into Harvard this time." Mom put down the spatula excitedly, hurried over, and hugged my sister. "Really? That's wonderful. Mom always knew you were the best." She kissed my sister's forehead, completely ignoring my presence. I stood to the side, wearing the same smile on my face. Yes, my sister performed exceptionally well this time. Only then did Mom notice me and casually said, "Doris, you've worked hard too." Then she turned to my sister to ask how she was doing. Watching them so cheerful, I sneered inwardly. "Let them be happy for a few more days. Once the results come out, we'll see if they can still laugh." That night, my sister gathered the whole class to go to KTV to celebrate the end of the college entrance exams. I didn't want to go, but the barrage insisted I should. "You have to go. Let's see what other schemes they have." The private room was filled with smoke and noise, with my younger sister and Sherry sitting right in the middle, surrounded by everyone. I noticed Lisa sitting in the corner, the only classmate who never spoke ill of me. "Valerie, Harvard's a sure thing, right?" a boy asked fawningly, offering her a drink. My sister proudly tossed her hair. "Of course, I estimate my score to be at least 700. She glanced at me as she spoke. "Wow," everyone exclaimed in admiration. Sherry affectionately put her arm around my sister's shoulder. "Our Valerie is a natural academic. She just keeps a low profile." I sat in the corner, quietly sipping my orange juice. Lisa quietly sat next to me. "Doris, are you okay?" Her voice was soft, filled with genuine concern. Before I could answer, Sherry sharply interrupted. "Hey, Lisa, what are you talking to her about? Don't let her lead you astray." Lisa hunched her shoulders and said nothing more. I excused myself to the restroom and left the private room. But I overheard my sister and Sherry's conversation in the hallway. "Is everything ready?" It was my sister's voice. "Don't worry," Sherry whispered, "the photos are all edited, and the chat records are forged, as long as your mom handles her part." Of course my mom is on my side. My sister sneered. "She can't wait for that nerd to disappear." I felt a chill run through my body and quickly walked away. I realized I had forgotten my phone when I reached the main entrance, so I had to go back and get it. The moment I pushed open the private room door, I saw a scene that made my blood run cold. The KTV room door slid open silently, and the people inside had their backs to me, unaware of my presence. Valerie and Sherry were standing in front of the large screen, surrounded by 5 or 6 classmates. My photo was prominently displayed on the screen, photoshopped into a scene of me playing games at an internet cafe, with cigarettes and alcohol covering the table. "This one looks the most realistic," Sherry said proudly, pointing at another photo. "I photoshopped her into a bar restroom, and it looks like she's smoking." Perfect, Valerie clapped her hands. Once the results come out, if she dares to make a scene, we'll post these online and claim she failed because of her degenerate lifestyle. A boy hesitated and said, "Isn't this going too far, too much?" Valerie sneered. "Do you know how fake she usually is, acting like a model student all day? It's disgusting." Sherry chimed in, "Exactly, she deserves it. Valerie is the real academic star. She just goes easy on her usually." I stood at the door, my hands and feet turning cold. In my past life, these fabricated photos did appear online, becoming undeniable evidence of my poor character. By the way, Valerie suddenly lowered her voice. "Sherry, are you sure those chat logs are okay?" "Don't worry." Sherry pulled out her phone. "I used software to generate 6 months of chat logs, all of them Doris asking me for answers, even the timestamps match each exam." A girl timidly asked, What if she does well this time?" The private room suddenly fell silent for a second. Valerie burst out laughing. "How is that possible? She used my exam admission ticket. Don't you know what level I'm at? Getting into a third-tier university would be good enough." But the girl still wanted to say something, but Sherry interrupted her. "Don't worry, Auntie said that even if she scores well, they'll say Valerie did it. They're twins, who can tell the difference." Just as I was about to turn and leave, I saw an even more shocking scene. Seeing all this, I trembled all over, covering my mouth, not daring to make a sound, and fled the KTV in a hurry. Walking out of the KTV, the summer night's heat wave hit me, but I felt a biting cold. 2 weeks later, on the day the college entrance exam results were announced, our whole family sat in front of the computer, my mother's hands shaking nonstop, while my sister had a look of absolute confidence. "Wait." Mom suddenly stood up. "Doris, come with me to the room for a moment." Her voice was deliberately softened, but it couldn't hide the tension within. I sneered, knowing exactly what she was going to say. She wanted me to publicly claim that I had failed the exam and give up my Harvard spot to my sister. Walking into the room, Mom was sitting at her dressing table with a stack of documents in front of her. "Doris," she patted the seat next to her. "Come and sit." She handed me a cup of hot milk. "Have something to drink first." I took the cup, pretending not to notice the calculation flashing in her eyes. In my previous life, it was this doctored milk that made me incoherent during the subsequent interview, solidifying the charge of cheating due to a guilty conscience. I sat down obediently, placing the cup aside, my gaze sweeping over the stack of papers. They were my sister's mock exam transcripts, none scoring higher than 450 points. "Actually," Mom suddenly lowered her voice. "Mom has a secret to tell you. I have a system that can swap your and your sister's grades." I faint shock. "What?" Her tone was eerily gentle. "But it doesn't matter, you're sisters, and it's still going to college, no matter who goes, right?" She looked at me with cold eyes and continued, "Doris, you're the older sister, you should give in to your younger sister, understand?" I lowered my head and said nothing. "You know your sister isn't in good health," Mom went on. "She needs a better learning environment. You can repeat a year of school. I'll enroll you in the best tutoring classes." I looked up and met her eyes directly. "What if I say no?" Mom's expression instantly turned cold. "Doris, don't be ungrateful. Since you were little, in what way has your sister been inferior to you? Can't you just give in to her? Can the college entrance exam be given in too?" I asked softly. Slap. A sharp slap landed on my face, stinging with a burning pain. "I'm telling you," Mom said through gritted teeth. "I'm the one in charge of this house. If you dare make a scene, don't call me your mother anymore." I laughed, covering my face, and said, "Mom, why don't we check the grades first?" At that moment, my sister pushed the door open and came in. "Mom, we can check the results now." We returned to the computer, and Mom's hand trembled as she clicked the query button. "I found it," Mom screamed. 725 points, third in the province. My younger sister immediately jumped up. "It's me. It's my score." Mom hugged her, crying tears of joy. "My precious daughter is amazing." I sat quietly to the side, watching them perform. "Doris," Mom turned to me, her tone icy, "you know what to do, right?" I tilted my head. "What should I do? Tell everyone this is your sister's score?" She snapped. "If you dare say a single word." "Mom," I interrupted her, "why don't you take a closer look at whose name is actually on this score?" The room suddenly fell silent. My sister's face was ashen. What do you mean?" I slowly took out my phone, opened the page I had prepared, entered my exam admission ticket number, and the screen prominently displayed 725 points. "Doris, impossible," my sister shrieked. "You used my admission ticket." Mom, hearing her sister's words, looked at her in shock. "Valerie, you switched the exam admission tickets." Her sister shook her head in panic. No, Mom muttered to herself. So foolish, so foolish." Then, with trembling hands, she entered her sister's exam admission number. 328 points. This can't be." Mom slumped into the chair. My sister lunged at me like a Madwoman, what did you do? This was clearly my score. I watched my sister's hysterical display coldly, then turned to Mom and said, "Now, will you tell me what this business about tampering with the system is all about?" Mom's face turned deathly pale, her lips trembling too much to form words. The younger sister suddenly rushed up to her, grabbing her shoulders and shaking her wildly. "Mom, hurry up and use the system to swap the grades back. Didn't you say you could swap them anytime?" Mom's eyes began to glaze over. "The system said. It said it can only be swapped once." "What?" the younger sister screamed, shoving Mom away abruptly. "You idiot. Why didn't you say so earlier?" Mom staggered and crashed into the bookshelf, sending glass ornaments shattering all over the floor. She cried hysterically, "I did it all for you, from the time you were little until now, and now you're blaming me." Watching their ugly squabble, I quietly retreated to the door, taking advantage of the moment they were tangled up in a fight. I quickly grabbed my backpack and rushed out of the house. The summer night breeze blew away the sweat on my forehead. I hailed a taxi and used the pocket money I had saved for 3 years to book a room at a hotel in the city center. Lying on the soft bed, memories flashed through my mind like a revolving lantern. Since childhood, my mother has always favored my younger sister, simply because she knew how to act cute and sweet talk, while I was always quiet and reserved. Even though we are identical twins, my mother has always been extremely partial to my sister, believing that I am dull and uninteresting, and that I would surely grow up to be an ungrateful person. While I was deep in thought, my phone started vibrating wildly. I pulled out my phone and saw that the class group chat had exploded. Sherry had shared a link, which led to a local media report. Shocking. Top scorer with 725 points in the college entrance exam suspected of cheating. Mother tearfully reports her. In the video, the mother and younger sister were crying pitifully in front of the camera. "This child has never been honest since she was little," the mother said, wiping her tears. "As her mother, I can't cover up for her." My sister sobbed and added, "My sister often threatens me, demanding that I pass her answers during exams. I just can't bear the guilt anymore." Trembling all over, I scrolled down and saw the evidence Sherry had posted in the class group chat. A few blurry screenshots of chat logs, exactly the same as what I had overheard at the KTV. "Doris is so disgusting. She always acts so high and mighty, but it turns out she's a cheating dog. Recommend that Harvard revoke her admission." A flood of insults spread from class group chats to social media platforms. My private messages exploded. Some cursed me to die, others doxed my address, and some even photoshopped my obituary photo. Only the barrage of comments floating before my eyes still spoke up for me. "I'm so angry. Are these people blind? Don't be afraid, Doris. We all saw the truth. Call the police quickly. Sue them for defamation." With trembling hands, I dialed 110. After listening to my statement, the operator's tone became serious. "We will immediately file a case for investigation." After hanging up the phone, I posted a statement. "The police have been notified, and all those spreading rumors will be held legally accountable." This statement was instantly drowned out by more insults. "Stop pretending. If you dare, go ahead and sue. Cheaters are just panicking. Everyone, take screenshots for evidence. Let's see how she handles this." At 3 in the morning, I still couldn't fall asleep. My phone suddenly vibrated. It was a message from Lisa. "Doris, I believe you. Sherry was bragging yesterday that those chat logs were fabricated by her. Do you need me to testify?" My eyes welled up with tears, and just as I was about to reply, the door suddenly started shaking from violent knocking. "Doris, we know you're in there," came my sister's shrill voice. "Open the door. The media is waiting." Through the peephole, I saw the hallway was packed with people. My sister was holding up her phone, live streaming, while Mom sobbed to the camera beside her. "This child ran away from home. We've been worried sick." I took a deep breath and yanked the door open. The blinding flashlights instantly aimed at my face, with over a dozen phones recording the moment simultaneously. "Sis," my younger sister immediately rushed over and grabbed my arm, her voice trembling with tears. "Come home with us. Mom is so worried she's fallen ill." I coldly shook off her hand. "What's the rush?" In a hurry to keep spreading rumors, Mom immediately stepped forward, putting on a heartbroken expression in front of the cameras. "Doris, Mom knows she was wrong. She shouldn't have reported you for cheating. As long as you're willing to turn over a new leaf, Mom will forgive you." Netizens' comments exploded instantly. "Oh my God, what kind of terrible family is this? The mom already apologized, and you're still not accepting it. Cheaters pretending to be noble." My sister suddenly knelt down and hugged my leg. "Sis, please stop making a scene. People online are already cursing our entire family." She turned to the camera, tears streaming down her face. "Please, everyone, show some mercy. My sister just made a mistake." In the heat of the moment, my stomach churned. In my past life, they did the same, using family bonds to manipulate me and public opinion to crush me. Step aside, I said, my voice as cold as ice. A boy suddenly rushed out from the crowd. It was Sam, the biggest brown-noser in the class. He pointed at my nose and yelled, Doris, have you no shame? Not only did you steal Valerie's spot, but now you're trying to ruin her too. That sentence was like lighting a powder keg. The surrounding crowd began to stir. Exactly, how disgusting. Does someone like this even deserve to go to Harvard? Cheating dog. I don't know who pushed me first, but then more hands and feet came at me. In the chaos, someone kicked me hard in the waist, and I stumbled against the wall, a sharp pain shooting through the back of my head. Stop. The hotel security finally arrived to disperse the crowd. I huddled in the corner and saw my sister hiding behind my mother, a faint smile playing on her lips. Check the surveillance footage. I struggled to stand up despite the pain. I'm calling the police. This was intentional harm. The next day, the police reviewed the exam hall surveillance footage. The video clearly showed that I had answered all the questions independently, with no signs of cheating. Public opinion began to shift. Looks like she earned the grades herself. Then why did her mom and classmates report her? A chilling thought. Could it be school bullying? The bullet comments were jubilant. Finally someone sees the truth. Stay strong, Doris. We support you. Seeing the situation turning unfavorable, the younger sister suddenly burst into tears during the live stream. At this point, I have no choice but to reveal the truth. The college entrance exam questions have been leaked. She pulled out a crumpled piece of paper. This is my sister. She obtained the answers through improper means. The camera zoomed in on the paper. A few crooked math problems were scrawled on it, completely unrelated to the college entrance exam, but netizens were once again led astray. Holy crap, that's explosive. Selling herself for problems at such a young age. Disgusting. Should be banned from exams for life. I stood by the floor-to-ceiling window in the hotel room, watching the flickering city lights outside, while my phone screen kept lighting up with new abusive messages. This time, I felt a strange sense of calm. It's time, I whispered to myself. Open the video software, start a live broadcast, with a simple and direct title, Confessions of a 725-point Scorer. About exam, family, and truth. Then, I shared the live broadcast to the class group chat and all social media platforms. The moment the live broadcast began, the number of viewers surpassed 10,000. In the camera, I was barefaced, my eyes slightly red from staying up all night. Hello everyone, I'm Doris. My voice was soft but exceptionally clear. First of all, I want to thank everyone who has been concerned about this matter. Netizens immediately erupted. Finally, a response. How dare you go live, you cheater. Don't curse yet. Listen to what she has to say. I took a deep breath and pulled a thick folder from my backpack. These are all my notes, error logs, and mock exam papers from my 3 years of high school. I opened one page, covered in neat, dense handwriting. Every page has a date, which proves these weren't fabricated on the spot. Next, I pulled up my phone's photo album. This is the surveillance footage from my room. In the footage, my figure, getting up at 4 a.m. every day to study, is clearly visible. I installed this camera half a year ago because I found someone was tampering with my study materials. Netizens began to express different opinions. Oh my god, this study intensity, no wonder they scored 725. Wait, who touched her files? As for my sister Valerie, I clicked on another video, a candid shot of her desk drawer, filled with unopened workbooks and brand new notebooks. She doesn't even do the most basic homework. The live viewership had already surpassed 100,000. I continued to drop bombshells. Regarding the alleged exam leak, the police have confirmed it's a rumor, but I want to show everyone something even more interesting. I played the secretly recorded KTV video. In the footage, Valerie and Sherry are discussing how to fabricate evidence of my cheating. Netizens went completely crazy. Holy shit. What a shocking plot twist. Is this considered a crime? Call the police and arrest them. Just then, my door was pounded on again. This time, it was my mother's hysterical scream. Doris, open this door. I calmly aimed my phone at the door. Does everyone want to see what real family relationships look like? Then I walked over and opened the door. Mom and my sister rushed in. My sister immediately noticed I was live streaming, and her face instantly turned pale. What are you doing? Mom lunged straight for my phone. Turn it off. Turn it off right now. I dodged nimbly and raised the phone higher. Mom, the entire country is watching. Don't you love being on camera the most? Mother's hand froze in midair, her expression twisted horribly. You ungrateful wretch, I raised you all these years, and this is how you harm your sister. Netizens were flooding the screen rapidly. Is this mom crazy? Clearly biased beyond reason. Doris, run. My sister suddenly knelt down, crying and pleading. Sis, I was wrong. It was all Sherry who forced me. She said if I didn't cooperate, she would. Would what? I asked coldly. Expose the fact that you had an abortion in middle school. Those words exploded in the room like a bomb, and my sister's expression instantly froze, while my mother stood rigidly in place as if struck by lightning. So much information, an abortion in middle school. This family is too terrifying. What nonsense are you talking about? My sister shrieked, lunging to snatch my phone. I dodged, and she fell heavily to the ground. My mother finally snapped out of it, pointing at me and cursing, "You bitch, spreading rumors about your own sister. I should have strangled you when you were born." I calmly looked at the camera. "Everyone, you see, this is my family." My voice trembled slightly, but remained firm. "My sister Valerie got pregnant and had an abortion in junior high. My mom paid $50,000 to silence the other party." "Shut up." Mom grabbed the lamp and threw it at me. I couldn't dodge in time, and my shoulder was hit hard, making me gasp in pain. "The live chat has exploded. Call the police. Call the police now. This counts as intentional harm." Poor Doris. I endured the pain and continued, "But what I'm exposing today isn't that." I looked directly into the camera. "I have evidence here that every classmate and my sister had an improper relationship. That's why so many of them were willing to conspire together to commit perjury for my sister." Mother and sister froze simultaneously. Sister snapped back to reality, her eyes wide with terror as she exclaimed, What kind of nonsense are you talking?" I gave her a faint smile and then played the footage I had captured that day in the KTV private room. Mother let out an inhuman scream and lunged forward frantically. "I'll kill you. I'll kill you. How dare you ruin your sister?" The live stream footage shook violently, and viewers could only hear the sounds of a struggle and my sister's screams. It wasn't until hotel security broke down the door that they were able to pull my out-of-control mother away. I tidied my messy hair and said to the camera, "This is the truth." The number of viewers in the live stream had already exceeded 1 million. I finally said, "The college entrance exam is just the beginning. Next, I will use legal means to protect myself. Thank you to everyone who supported me. Goodbye." After the live stream ended, the police arrived. My mother and sister were taken away for investigation, and I could finally breathe a sigh of relief. 3 days later, the Education Bureau issued an announcement confirming that my college entrance exam results were authentic and valid, and Valerie and Sherry were placed under investigation for defamation and evidence forgery. My mother was sent to a mental hospital because she kept rambling about having an exchange system. The admissions officer from Harvard personally called me to welcome me to the university. Meanwhile, Lisa and several other classmates came forward to testify, exposing Valerie's long-term bullying behavior. The day before school started, I went to the mental hospital to see my mother one last time. "Why?" she asked me through the glass, her eyes still full of resentment. "Why did you destroy this family?" I calmly replied, "Mom, it wasn't me who destroyed this family. It was your favoritism and ruthless methods." She hysterically pounded on the glass. "I did it all for your own good. You sisters should support each other." "Support each other?" I sneered. "You mean be my sister's stepping stone for life?" Right. Visiting hours were over, and I stood up to leave. As I reached the door, I heard my mother's final scream, "Doris, you'll die a terrible death." I didn't look back. On the third day after the college entrance exam results were announced, my phone had already been blown up with calls. Countless media outlets wanted to interview the person involved in the case of the 725-point top scorer who was falsely accused of cheating, and my social media followers increased by 500,000 overnight. I sat in the hotel room, watching the sunlight outside the window spill onto the carpet through the glass. The live stream 3 days ago was like a bomb, exposing the dark side of our family, our class, and even the entire school. My phone vibrated. It was a message from Lisa. "Doris, Sherry was taken away by the police. Her parents are causing a scene at the school." A slight smile curled at the corner of my lips as I replied, "She deserved it." Putting down my phone, I opened my laptop and began organizing the final pieces of evidence. The live stream was just the beginning. I was going to make everyone involved in this conspiracy pay the price. The class group chat was in chaos, with people constantly leaving. The classmates who had been so arrogant yesterday, helping my sister scold me, were now all silent. I clicked on a video file, another clip I had secretly filmed at KTV. In the video, Sherry was saying to a few boys, "What are you afraid of? Didn't homeroom teacher Oldley also mess with Valerie? Does he dare not cooperate?" I took a deep breath and uploaded this video to the cloud. This is the final bomb, and I'll detonate it at the right time. The doorbell suddenly rang. I cautiously looked through the peephole. It was Lisa. "Doris," she grabbed my hand as soon as she entered. "Are you okay? The internet's gone wild." I shook my head. "I'm fine, better than ever." Lisa's eyes were red. I've been wanting to tell you. Many people in the class have been threatened by Valerie, she has dirt on everyone, I know, I said calmly, not just classmates, but teachers too. Lisa gasped sharply. How did you know? I opened my computer and showed her a surveillance video. The date shows it was the day before the midterm exams in the first semester of senior year. Oh my God, Lisa covered her mouth. This is too disgusting, I sneered. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I continued flipping through the files, revealing more evidence, videos of my sister and Sherry bullying younger students in the girls' restroom, chat records of my sister accepting bribes from boys to help them cheat, and even photos of her partying with troublemakers from outside the school. Lisa suddenly burst into tears. I'm sorry, I should have stood up and helped you sooner. I patted her on the shoulder. It's not too late now. At that very moment, my phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. Hello, is this Doris? A serious male voice asked, regarding the teacher misconduct issue you reported. We need your assistance with the investigation. A cold smile played on my lips. Okay, I'll cooperate anytime. After hanging up the phone, Lisa looked at me with concern. Are you going to report Teacher Leo? Not just him. I opened the class roster. None of those who gave false testimony will get away with it. The next day, I met Wilson wearing a mask and a hat. Wilson was a middle-aged man in his 40s with eyes as sharp as an eagle's. Student Dong, we have verified the video you provided, he said, sliding a document toward me. Teacher Leo has been suspended pending investigation, but we need more evidence. I took a USB drive out of my bag. This contains the complete video from December 15th last year, showing Mr. Leo and my sister in the teacher's lounge. There's also an audio recording from this March, where he accepted a bribe from a parent to change grades. Wilson's expression turned unusually serious. Did you collect all of this by yourself? Yes, I replied calmly. I just wanted to understand why my efforts were always dismissed, but I never expected to uncover so much filth. As I left the Education Bureau, the sunlight stung my eyes. My phone vibrated. It was a call from the hospital. Mom was at the psychiatric hospital, insisting on seeing me. I hesitated for a moment but ended up taking a taxi to the hospital. The corridors of the psychiatric hospital always reeked of disinfectant. Through the glass, I saw Mom strapped to the hospital bed with restraints, cursing incessantly. Ms. Dong had a sudden outburst this morning and injured 2 nurses, the doctor said helplessly. She kept insisting on seeing you. I took a deep breath, pushed the door open, and walked in. You bitch. My mother struggled to sit up as soon as she saw me. You've ruined everything for me. I stood by the bed, looking at her calmly. No, you ruined it yourself. Valerie was so brilliant, she should have gone to Harvard. It's all your fault, Mom shrieked hysterically, saliva dripping from the corners of her mouth. The doctor quickly injected her with a sedative. Before the medication took effect, she suddenly quieted down, her eyes clearing. Doris, Mom was wrong, save Valerie. Then her eyes closed. I turned and left, encountering my aunt who had come to visit in the hallway. Doris, my aunt hesitated. Your sister has been taken away by the police. I nodded. I know. Aren't you sad, my aunt asked cautiously. I looked at the sunlight outside the window and whispered softly. The days when I was sad are over. A week later, the Education Bureau issued a disciplinary announcement. The homeroom teacher, Mr. Leo, was dismissed from public service and transferred to judicial authorities. The 6 students who participated in giving false testimony were given disciplinary records. Sherry was criminally detained for defamation and evidence tampering. My sister Valerie was detained on the same charges, and my Harvard acceptance letter arrived at the hotel on the same day. Holding that thin piece of paper, 3 years of endurance, pain, and struggle finally paid off. The barrage of comments danced cheerfully before my eyes. Congratulations, Doris, hard work pays off, a new life begins. I smiled, closed the acceptance letter, and started packing my bags. The day before I left, Lisa came to see me off. Are you really not going to forgive anyone? She whispered. I shook my head. It's not about not forgiving, but about not wanting to be entangled anymore. Some things, should be completely let go. Lisa bit her lip. Sherry, she asked me to convey her apologies. She said she was also forced by your sister. I know. I interrupted her, but I won't forgive. Some hurts can't be erased with just an apology. The train station was bustling with people, and I was dragging my suitcase, ready to enter. Lisa suddenly grabbed me. Doris, thank you. If you hadn't stood up, we might have lived forever in Valerie's shadow. I patted her shoulder. Take care. The moment I turned around, I saw a familiar figure standing in the distance. It was my sister. She was wearing a mask and a hat, looking at me with a complicated expression in her eyes. We locked eyes for a second, and then I walked into the station without looking back. As the high-speed train started moving, my phone vibrated. It was a text message from an unknown number. Sis, I hate you. I smiled, blocked the number, and then looked out the window at the scenery rapidly receding. Behind us, the past 3 years felt like a nightmare, but now, I've finally woken up. The sky in M-City was exceptionally blue. As I stepped out of the train station, Harvard seniors were holding up signs at the exit to welcome the new students. "Are you a new student at Harvard?" A senior with a ponytail enthusiastically asked me. I smiled and nodded. "Yes, I'm Doris." The senior's eyes suddenly widened. "You're the Doris who scored 725 on the college entrance exam." The surrounding freshmen and parents all turned their heads, and some began to whisper. I calmly nodded. "That's me." My senior excitedly grabbed my hand. "Oh my God, we all saw your news online. You're so brave." I smiled shyly. "It's all in the past." Sitting in the taxi to school, my senior kept praising me. I looked out at the tall buildings of M-City and suddenly felt incredibly relaxed. My phone vibrated again. It was a message from Lisa. "Doris, have you seen the news? Your homeroom teacher, Mr. Leo, has been found to have improper relationships with multiple students and has been arrested. Also, Sherry's parents are making a scene at school, saying she's also a victim." I replied, "What goes around comes around." Putting down my phone, I took a deep breath. I knew that the story about my sister and me would be talked about for a long time, but it no longer had anything to do with me. From now on, I am just Doris, an ordinary college student with a future full of endless possibilities. And as for the younger sister Valerie, she will forever live in the shadow of the college entrance exam swap, carrying the burden of lies and infamy, spending what could have been a bright and brilliant life. This is the price, this is justice. After hearing the second story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. The marriage registrar misspoke my name. I was just about to correct it. Suddenly, lines of bullet comments appeared before my eyes. "Poor female lead. She doesn't know yet that the male lead deliberately misspoke her name in order to marry the supporting female character." The male lead wrote the name of the female supporting character, Jenny James. Unfortunately, the female lead has become mentally impaired after drowning and now cannot read. I looked down at the marriage registration form in confusion. The name Jenny James was clearly written on it, so she is the female lead who, because of her name, ended up dying a tragic death twice. That's right, this time she corrected herself, and it was the beginning of her tragic fate. The second time, she was too afraid of the male lead to correct herself, missing her only chance to save herself. Don't spoil it. How can we keep watching if you spoil it? "Hey, why has the female lead gone silent?" the registrar is asking her. In a moment, the male lead will whisper in her ear, reminding her to respond as they practiced beforehand. Looking at these words, my freshly awakened brain became confused again. Just then, Kevin Green leaned into my ear, his tone laced with a warning. "Answer the registrar. Admit your name is Jenny, quick, or you won't get any candy." The male lead is so mean, bullying an idiot. Can a bad guy also be the male lead? Female lead, you must never correct the name, or you'll really end up marrying the male lead and die a miserable death later. Sob sob, my poor female lead. Little girl. Little girl, are you Jenny herself? What's going on? So, I'm the female lead, a fool, supporting female character, Jenny male lead. Kevin Green, the male lead doesn't want to marry me, so he's making me pretend to be the female supporting character. The comments say that if I don't do as the male lead says, I'll end up dying a miserable death later. Seeing the sinister look in the man's eyes beside me, I couldn't help but shudder. Subconsciously, I didn't want to be associated with him. My name is Jenny. That's right, I'm Jenny. Hearing this, Kevin Green smiled. Yes, her name is Jenny. What happened? According to the plot, shouldn't the female lead be insisting that her name is Monica? Did the screenwriter change the script? Or has the female lead stopped being foolish? Or has the female lead been reborn? After verifying their identities, the marriage registrar stamped the marriage certificate bearing Jenny's name. As the stamp fell, Kevin Green visibly relaxed. He happily put away the marriage certificate, then pulled a nearly melted white rabbit candy from his pocket and pressed it into my hand. He patted my head and praised, "Such a good girl." Kevin Green is very handsome, with well-defined, striking features. He's a rare kind of handsome guy. If the bullet comments hadn't said I'd die if I went against him, I would have been eager to marry him. As I walked out of the marriage registration office, a crowd of people swarmed around me. A middle-aged man and woman stood at the very front. The middle-aged man asked, "So, did you get the certificate?" Under their expectant gazes, Kevin Green waved the marriage certificate in his hand and said, "Yes, I got it. Are you satisfied now?" Hearing this, the middle-aged man and woman in front of him immediately became happy. Good, good, good. It's great that you got it. It's great that you got it. Are this middle-aged couple the male lead's parents? And the people behind them are relatives invited by the male lead's parents to prevent him from running away. Right, yes, they still don't know that their son has already married another woman right under their noses. Ha 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 ha. Having parents who force their son to marry a fool is truly the male lead's misfortune. If it weren't for the female lead risking her life to jump into the water and save them, the male lead's parents would have drowned, and it was because the female lead overexerted herself and was underwater for too long, causing a lack of oxygen to her brain, that she became mentally impaired. So it seems the male lead's parents do understand gratitude. Pa, why would they sacrifice their son's happiness for gratitude? They're just after the inheritance left to the female lead by her adoptive parents. They want to take everything from her, but they're afraid of being cursed by the villagers, so they force their son to marry a fool, and thus ruin the female lead's life. This world is so sinister. Under the relentless barrage of comments flowing like a stream, my muddled mind suddenly became clear. It turned out, I had been reborn. I had been reborn after starving to death in the pigsty on that winter night. The tragic memories from my past life flooded into my mind like a tide. I am an orphan. Because I saved Kevin's parents from drowning, I was left with a mental disability. Kevin's parents, under the guise of gratitude, were actually coveting the inheritance left to me by my adoptive parents, forcing their son to marry me. In my previous life, when the marriage registrar checked our IDs, I denied my name was Jenny, and so, Kevin Green and I became legally married. When Jenny found out, she married someone else in a fit of pique. Kevin Green's personality changed drastically because of this, and he treated me coldly and tormented me. Kevin's parents quickly showed their true colors after inheriting the estate left by my adoptive parents. With Kevin Green's indulgence, they deprived me of food and drink. At the Green household, I had endless chores every day. If I was even slightly displeasing, I would be brutally beaten. To prevent the villagers from finding out that they were abusing me, they locked me in the house and forbade me from going outside. However, they painstakingly crafted a victim narrative, portraying me as a complete madman, not only insane but also inherently violent. A year later, Kevin Green and Jenny overcame the obstacles and came together. My days became even harder. Jenny hated me. She believed I was the reason she impulsively married a pervert. She used all her strength to torment me. Kevin Green turned a blind eye to it. If Kevin's parents hadn't cared what the villagers thought, Jenny would have killed me long ago. Then one day, Kevin Green tipped Jenny and left. When I saw them again, they were wearing brand new clothes, wearing an expensive watch on his wrist, carrying bags full of good things. It was after that, too, that the Green family's life visibly improved, and my situation not only didn't get better, but got worse. Kevin's parents completely deprived me of my freedom to walk, chaining me in the pigsty. Later, I was close to death. Before I died, Kevin's parents stood outside the pigsty, watching me. They looked happy in the face of my death. This fool is finally going to die, and now we can go to the city with our son to enjoy a life of luxury. After death, my soul drifted for a long time, then one day, it entered a body. Every day, I lived in a daze. It wasn't until the marriage registrar asked for my name that my mind slowly cleared. I was reborn, no longer foolish. Finally, I can take control of my own life. I was pulled onto the ox cart by Kevin's parents, pushed to the bumpiest end of the cart. Kevin's parents were just like in my previous life, holding my hand, their faces full of joy, but I clearly saw disgust in her eyes. As the bullet comment said, there are many ways to repay someone. There is absolutely no need to sacrifice your own son's happiness. In my past life, I was foolish and couldn't see it, only dreaming of marrying my brother Goo. In this life, no longer foolish, I finally realized that their dislike for me had always been quite obvious. Marrying me into their family was nothing more than a temporary solution for them. The ox cart stopped under the large locust tree at the village entrance. Kevin's mother got off the cart and handed out wedding candies to the uncles and aunties. This isn't just about giving out wedding candies, she's making it clear to the villagers that the female lead is now part of their family. No one should even think about coveting the female lead's family property. Look, a few people are leaving. Those guys have been eyeing the female lead's family property all along, but now the Green family has beaten them to it. They're absolutely furious. They'll probably go home and take it out on their wives. Oh, the village chief is here too. That old man is no good either. He even wanted his foolish son to marry the female lead. I picked up a candy from Kevin's mother's hand and handed it to the village chief. Grandpa Chief, have some. This is girl's wedding candy. The female lead offered him candy. The old man was seething inside but had to put on a happy face. The village chief took the wedding candy from my hand, noticing my reluctant expression. Green family, girl is a poor but good child. It's a blessing for your Kevin Green to marry her. You must treat her well, or I'll be the first to object. I stood by, clapping and cheering. Kevin's parents quickly and cheerfully agreed. Of course, girl will be a part of our Green family from now on, and we will definitely treat her well. They're all leeches trying to suck the female lead dry. I took Kevin's mother's hand and tilted my head, asking, can girl eat delicious food? Can she wear new clothes? Can auntie not lock girl at home and not let her go out to play? Kevin's mother's smile instantly froze. This comment is proof. The female lead is definitely not stupid anymore. She's pretending to be foolish. Kevin's father quickly stepped forward to smooth things over. Of course, whatever girl wants to eat, just tell dad, and I'll buy it for you. If you want to go out and play, then go out and play. I happily hopped up and down. Oh, we're going to have delicious food. I get to wear new clothes, and I can go out and play. I need to tell Bob. I want to eat delicious food with Bob. After saying that, I ran straight to the village chief's house. Kevin's mother still wanted to stop her, but the village chief held her back. Girl wants to play with Bob, just let her go. They're at the age where they love to play. Damn, the plot is different again. To be precise, the female lead seems to be different. The first time I watched it, the female lead didn't seem to go play with Bob. This bullet comment proves that the female lead is definitely not stupid anymore. She's faking it. I ran all the way to the village chief's house. I had already made up my mind on the way. I must leave this village. Leaving requires money and a letter of introduction. Compared to money, how to get a letter of introduction from the village chief is a big problem. Since the bullet comments say the village chief also covets my family's property, directly asking for it is definitely not an option. The village chief and his wife are both at the village entrance. Only Bob is at home playing in the mud. Bob is 12 years old this year, and his brain was damaged by a high fever when he was little. He is genuinely simple-minded. I gave Bob the candy that Kevin Green gave me. Bob happily continued playing with mud. To prevent anyone from suddenly arriving at the village chief's house, I propped the door shut with a piece of wood. Then I arrived at the village chief's office. The office door was locked, and the only key was now in my hand. Just a short while ago, I had swiped this key from the village chief. I took out the key and opened the office door. What caught my eye was a desk. Against the wall stood a bookcase. I went straight to the desk, took out the key, and opened the leftmost drawer. The barrage exploded when they saw my series of actions. Oh my god, oh my god. I just left for a moment and came back to see this. Is the female lead not stupid anymore? Is she going to change her fate? Is it this exciting? Am I the only one curious about what she's going to do? And where did she get the key? With this bullet comment as proof, the female lead is definitely not stupid. She's pretending to be foolish. Amidst the countless questions in the bullet comments, I opened the drawer, quickly rummaging through. I found the paper the village chief used to write the letter of introduction. Then, I found the village chief's seal in the cabinet and stamped it on the letter of introduction. Dumbfounded, what is the female lead doing? I'm going crazy. The female lead is trying to get a letter of introduction. In this era, you need a letter of introduction to go anywhere. Haha, am I the only one who sees that the female lead isn't stupid anymore? This bullet comment is proof. The female lead is definitely not stupid anymore. She's faking it. I ignored the frenzy of bullet comments and, just in case, took a few extra sheets of introduction letter paper. I just put the seal in the cabinet when I saw the comments frantically urging me. The village chief's wife is back. She's at the intersection. Hurry up, female lead. The village chief is here too. He took the small path and is almost behind the house. Hurry up, female lead. Don't get caught. Seeing the barrage of comments, I methodically quickened my movements. After restoring everything to its original state, I walked out of the office and locked the door. Then, I prepared to find a place to hide the key and the handkerchief wrapped around the letter of introduction. What is the female lead doing? What is she doing? Why does she seem to be looking for something? The village chief and his wife are about to return soon. I pretended to casually mutter, where should I hide it? I can't keep it on me. What if I get searched? The barrage of comments paused briefly after hearing me speak, then it started scrolling frantically. Hide it in a hole. Hide it in a hole. There's a hole in the east corner of the village chief's house, dug by Bob before. Hide there. Quick, hide there. Yes, hide there. That hole connects to the outside, making it easier to access later. I pretended to accidentally discover the hole, stuffed the handkerchief inside, and covered it up with something. Then I calmed myself down and pretended nothing had happened while playing with Bob and mud, not forgetting to smear mud on the clothes the village chief's wife had hung out to dry. When the village chief knocked the door open, he saw Bob and me, both covered in mud, along with the muddy ground in the yard, the murky water vat, and the scattered tools lying all over the place. The village chief glared at us with wide eyes, but before he could scold us, he pushed both Bob and me aside. I took the opportunity to pull Bob down to the ground with me. Bob fell on his bottom and started wailing loudly. I also sat on the ground, imitating Bob by wiping my tears and wailing loudly. The village chief's wife, who arrived shortly after, nearly fainted when she saw the state of the house. The village chief arrived at the office door and saw that the lock on the office door was securely fastened. He went into the inner room and didn't come out for a long time. When he came out again, he was holding a spare key. I pulled Bob and hid by the door. I saw the village chief carefully inspect the office, then open the drawers and bookshelves to check them, especially when he took out the money box and carefully counted the money inside. He breathed a sigh of relief when he found that none was missing. Hoo-hoo. Luckily the female lead didn't take the money. It scared the hell out of me. The village chief put away the money box, and when he turned around, he saw my and Bob's dirty heads. Those triangular eyes stared at my face again and again, seeing my clear expression, so he called his wife and told her to search me. The village chief's wife was confused, but I still did as he said. As the village chief's wife fumbled over me, I squirmed and laughed out loud. Bob stood by, drooling and grinning foolishly. Phew, that was close. The village chief. That old geezer. Oh no, I'm so nervous, I'm going to lose a couple more years of my life. Just as the village chief took out a piece of candy and was about to ask about my family situation, Kevin Green arrived. I was taken back to the Green family by Kevin Green. Jenny was there too, and it looked like she had been crying. I suppose Kevin Green had already told his parents about their situation. They were eager to figure out how much I knew. Kevin's mother held back from slapping me. Covered in mud as I was, she smiled and asked me, "Girl, do you know you're getting married?" I played with the mud on my clothes. "I know." "Then do you know who you're marrying?" Kevin's mother asked. I covered my mouth and giggled. "I'm marrying Kevin." Kevin's parents breathed a sigh of relief, sitting to the side. Jenny's face was darker than the bottom of a pot. Kevin Green asked her to endure for a while, and she agreed, but hearing me say that I married Brother Goo made her feel very uncomfortable that night. Kevin Green's room was noisy for a long time, only quieting down at dawn. I was just about to get up and go to the village chief's house to get a letter of introduction. Kevin's mother woke up. She pulled me out of bed to work, chopping wood, washing clothes, cooking, sweeping, feeding pigs, cleaning out the latrine. I did all these chores in the Green family in my previous life. In this life, I'm not doing everything. When stoking the fire, I let the flames burn outside, washing dishes, always breaking a few, washing clothes, halfway through scrubbing them on the muddy ground, sweeping the floor. Might as well not sweep at all. Kevin's mother looked at her increasingly messy home, and she was tired, so he handed me a bamboo basket and told me to go up the mountain to cut pigweed. This was exactly what I wanted. Haha, I'm dying of laughter. Mark my words, the female lead is definitely not stupid anymore. She's pretending. Are you really that persistent? We all know this secret. I carried the basket on my back and ran all the way home. Everything in the house, whether usable or not, had been taken away by Green's family. The house was completely empty. I remembered in my previous life, after my adoptive parents died, their faces were covered with fire paper, lying side by side in the center of the main room. That day, my world collapsed, so when I saw Kevin's parents fall into the water, I thought of Kevin Green and didn't want him to suffer the pain of losing his parents like I did. I resolutely jumped into the water and saved them. Little did I know I had saved 3 Zhongshan snakes that morning. I cried for a long time in the empty house. I cried out all the grievances from my past life. After crying, I told myself, I need to work hard to save myself from now on. I took a wooden stick and searched everywhere in the house. Seeing me cry, the bullet comments that had been silently mourning became active again. Is the female lead looking for something? It seems like the female lead is searching for something. No way, no way. The things her adoptive parents hid, they died before they could tell her. Does the female lead know something? This female lead is a bit eerie. Mark my words, the female lead is definitely not stupid anymore. She's pretending to be foolish. The female lead is eerie. Pfft, is the person upstairs trying to be this funny? Among a barrage of bullet comments, I spotted one. Female lead, hurry to the backyard. The things your adoptive parents left for you are buried there. As expected, I knew the existence of bullet comments must have its reason. Following the barrage's instructions, I pretended to be nonchalant as I made my way to the backyard. I stopped beside the most inconspicuous stone. The barrage said the item was right under the stone. It was a box, and inside the box was gold. I didn't go digging because it wasn't dark yet. I ran to the mountain and cut a full basket of pigweed. Kevin's mother was very satisfied when she saw it, thinking to myself that I had finally found a job suitable for me. Breakfast was made by Kevin's mother that day at the village entrance, under the big locust tree. They promised the village chief that they would treat me well and not restrict me. Although the food wasn't great, I wasn't starved like in my previous life. Kevin Green and Jenny were busy all night and didn't get up until noon. Jenny emerged from Kevin Green's room in an awkward posture. I hurried over to grab her, asking her to play with me. Jenny lost her footing and nearly fell to the ground, but was caught by Kevin Green. I was scolded by Kevin Green and went back to my room in a huff. Kevin Green walked in holding a baked sweet potato. He sat down opposite me and shoved the baked sweet potato into my hand. He looked at me with a gentle expression, then he started chatting with me, pulling topics from here and there. Finally, he asked, "Girl, do you know where your parents have hidden the good stuff? Here it comes. Here it comes." The male lead and his parents can't wait any longer. I'm an idiot. By the end of my answer, I didn't even know what I was saying. Thinking of my deceased parents, I really cried. So, Kevin Green went to great lengths to comfort me later. I was busy feeding roasted sweet potatoes to the little ants and had no time to pay attention to him. Kevin Green stormed out of my room angrily. Kevin's parents waited at the door, comforting each other not to worry. In the afternoon, Kevin Green came again. He held a piece of white rabbit candy and asked if I wanted it. My eyes filled with delight and longing, and I nodded emphatically. Kevin Green said he was going to take me to play a game. He took me to my house. "Tell me, my parents have hidden something good at home. As long as I can find it, he will give me the candy in his hand." Damn, this male lead is shameless. He actually thinks he can trick the female lead out of her family fortune with just one white rabbit candy. Not only did he take her family's property, but in the end, the whole family even got the female lead killed. What a sinister piece of work. Female lead, you're lucid now. Don't let love blind you and give your treasure to this scumbag. Even if he's the male lead, it doesn't change the fact that he's a scumbag. I looked at the bullet comments and smiled inwardly. In my previous life, I did like Kevin Green. Even after I became foolish, I still remembered my affection for him. So when the marriage registrar asked if my name was Jenny, I wasn't stupid anymore. I want to marry Kevin Green. Kevin Green, I spent my whole life seeing his true colors. How could I still love him? I just hate that I can't kill him right now. I extended my little finger and made a pinky promise with Kevin Green. Pinky swear, 100 years no changes. Whoever changes is a turtle egg. I dabbed some saliva on my thumb and then sealed the promise with Kevin Green. Haha, look how disgusted the male lead is. His face has turned completely dark. Female lead, if anyone doesn't respect you, I do, secretly cursed the male lead, and even disgusted him with saliva. Haha. Amidst the laughter from the bullet comments, I ran around the yard, the small pebbles on the ground, the grass in the corner, including the useless chopsticks. I picked up a large pile and placed it in front of Kevin Green. At first, Kevin Green's expression improved quite a bit when he saw how seriously I was searching. Now, his barely recovered expression turned even darker. Ha ha ha. The female lead is too adorable. If this continues, I think the male lead is going to go crazy. Is the male lead going to hit people if he's crazy? The female lead should be careful, considering how Kevin Green abused me in my past life. One thing is certain, this man has violent tendencies. To prevent him from laying a hand on me, I took the small shovel and started digging the hole in the corner of the wall. I once saw a snake wrapping around a frog there, trying to swallow it. Although I was very scared at the time, I still bravely saved the frog after being disturbed by me. The snake gave up on the frog and slithered into a hole, although afterward, Mom helped me block the hole with a stone. But what I really wanted to know is whether the snake was still in the hole. I dug a few times and found the egg-sized hole. I happily called Kevin Green to dig with me. Kevin Green really thought I'd found something good. After seeing the stone cave, he frowned. "Your parents hid something here," he asked. I nodded, explained a bit, and by the end, I didn't even know what I was saying. Kevin Green was also dumbfounded. He suddenly felt that communicating with an idiot was so difficult, but seeing my absolute certainty, he gritted his teeth, picked up a shovel, and started digging. And so, half an hour passed, a large pit appeared in front of him and me. That egg-sized hole was still there, and I had no idea where it led. I found a wooden stick and tried to push it into the hole, but it seemed endless. Kevin Green watched me playing so seriously with a hole, he suddenly realized that he seemed to have been fooled by an idiot. Sweating profusely, he slumped weakly into the pit. Ha ha ha. I went home with Kevin Green. During dinner, the few people sitting at the table looked very upset. Only I, who had been searching for trash for a long time, was so hungry that my stomach was touching my back. Kevin's father took a puff of his pipe and looked at me with an inscrutable expression. These past 2 days, they've also realized that I'm truly quite foolish. They can't place all their hopes on me. They're going to look for it themselves. However, in the meantime, they'll let Kevin Green continue to take me to play in the house. What if, one day, I suddenly remember I ate my meal heartily? I was pleased that they considered me foolish and openly discussed it in front of me. That night, Kevin Green's bed in his room creaked for half the night again. Jenny was screaming so loudly, and I was afraid Kevin's parents might not be asleep, so I didn't dare go out the Next day, Kevin's mother indeed woke up late. Kevin's father also had big dark circles under his eyes. I'm getting old after all. I took 2 steamed buns from the basket and went out to cut pigweed with my back basket. I took a detour to the village chief's house. When no one was around, I pulled out the letter of introduction from the rat hole and stuffed it into my back basket. Next, I just need to dig up what my adoptive parents buried in the backyard. According to the bullet comments, there are a few gold bars and some jade jewelry inside. There are also some items that can prove my identity. After getting the items, I'll go to the black market to exchange them for some money and buy a bus ticket. I still need to find a pen to fill in the blank introduction letter. Not many people have pens these days, but they're not entirely unavailable either, I thought to myself. Before I knew it, I had reached the village entrance. Suddenly, a strange man walked towards her. The man held a piece of paper in his hand, and drawn on it, seemed to be the Green family's pigsty. Little girl, do you know whose pigsty in the village looks like this? Holy crap, what's going on? Have the female lead's biological parents found her so soon? Wasn't it supposed to be a year later? Am I still watching the original show? In the original plot, the person looking for the female lead had a jade pendant design. Why are they holding a pigsty drawing this time? This show is getting more and more interesting. Oh my, is this really the time to talk about that? The female lead still doesn't know that the man opposite her was hired by her biological parents to help find her. To the person above, it's as if the female lead can see the comments. In the comments, I already know I'm not the biological child, so, as the bullet comment said, the last life I missed, my only chance to save myself was this man in front of me. Just as I was about to speak, Kevin Green appeared behind me with Kevin's parents. Damn it, the male lead and his parents still saw me. What should I do? What should I do? If I could make a wish to heaven, I'd wish the female lead could see the bullet comments. Now not only the female lead is acting strange, but the bullet comments are also starting to get weird. Girl, who are you talking to? Kevin Green asked the man warily. Who are you? Kevin's parents also gathered around, their faces filled with caution. Just as the man was about to speak, I let out an ouch and fell into his arms. I was pulled back by Kevin Green. The man left without raising any suspicion. I followed Kevin Green, my heart unable to calm down for a long time. The barrage also erupted into a massive wave. Was I seeing things? Did the female lead just trip over her own feet when she turned around? Based on my years of experience and intelligence, we just witnessed a perfect information exchange. I rewound and took a closer look. It seems like the female lead slipped something to the man. Did the female lead know this man was coming to see her? Oh my, the female lead is getting more and more wicked. Kevin Green took me up the mountain to cut pigweed. On the way back, we happened to be seen by Jenny, who lives across the street, to find that thing in my house. She and Kevin Green could only be neighbors during the day and a couple at night. Even holding hands during the day had to be done secretly. So, when she saw me with Kevin Green, she was furious. We had just entered the house when Jenny came looking for us. Brother Kevin Green, my chair is broken. Can you help me fix it? As soon as Kevin Green heard this, he immediately put down his basket and followed Jenny outside. At the door, he didn't forget to tell me, girl, you feed the pigs first. Brother Goo will take you out to play later. After saying that, she didn't forget to give me a flirtatious glance. Ugh. Is the male lead trying to seduce the female lead? And that female supporting character, she's clearly the legitimate wife, so why is she acting like a mistress? Who understands? Kevin Green took me to his house again, and this time Jenny came along too. As soon as the courtyard gate closed, Jenny threw herself into Kevin Green's arms. When she looked at me, her eyes were full of pride and provocation. Naturally, I paid no attention to it. I stayed alone in the courtyard, digging here and poking there, turning the yard into a complete mess. On the way back, Kevin Green wanted to hold my hand. Is the male lead trying to play the role of a loving husband in front of the villagers? Look, the female supporting character is going crazy again. Sure enough, a cry of ouch came from behind. Jenny sat on the ground clutching her ankle, looking utterly pitiful. Tears welled up in her eyes, on the verge of falling. What a picture of a beauty in distress. Kevin Green's heart ached, and he couldn't even pretend to be affectionate with me anymore. He picked up Jenny and ran home. The village chief's wife and Aunt Lucy were making sarcastic remarks behind them. Girl, your man is about to be snatched away, so pitiful, with no parents left, and now it seems her man is about to be gone too. These villagers are so disgusting. Speaking with such sarcasm, I pretended to be heartbroken and ran back home. Let the gossip come. I love hearing it. That night, Kevin Green ignored his parents' dissuasion and went to Jenny's house. I estimated the time, picked up the hoe, and went to my house. It's so late. What is the female lead going to do? She Couldn't possibly know where the things are hidden, could she? The female lead really knows. Wow, now we've really got a strong female lead story. I found the stone by moonlight and dug up the box buried beneath it. It was just as the bullet comment said. Inside were a few gold bars and some jade jewelry. There were also 2 letters, one left by my biological parents, one was written by my adoptive parents. It turns out that my birth parents didn't intentionally abandon me back then. It was just because the situation was urgent at the time. They had no choice but to leave me, still in swaddling clothes, at the doorstep of a household. I hope I can be taken in. It's just that the family had all gone abroad, only a nanny was left at home, who is my adoptive mother later. I was adopted by my adoptive mother to prevent my birth parents from finding me. In those years, my adoptive parents often waited outside that family's door, but there was never any news. My birth parents told me in the letter that they loved me very much. As long as I'm alive, they will find me. Woo-woo. The female lead is so pitiful. Her biological parents are good people. It's just that later, the male lead and the female supporting character pretended to be her and claimed to be their child. What's there to fear? Now the female lead is no longer foolish, and the plot has completely changed. The female lead will definitely reunite with her biological parents, for sure. I looked at the bullet comments, tears streaming down my face. So the reason the Green family suddenly became so well off in my previous life was because they deceived my biological parents and took their place by impersonation. No wonder they lived a better life but kept me chained up. No wonder Kevin's mother said before I died, "Finally, we can go to the city and enjoy life with our son." So they were afraid that if I were clear-headed, I would ruin their plans. They are truly more disgusting than I imagined. The female lead is crying. Boo-hoo-hoo, baby, don't cry. The item has been found, the letter of introduction is secured, and now it's the female lead's script. It's not too late to come back and deal with the male lead's family once she's strong enough. I filled in the hole I dug. The yard is full of pits. One more won't attract much attention. I held the box and walked out of the yard. By the time I left, I had already taken the letter of introduction with me. Seeing that it was still dark, I decided not to return to Green's house. Taking advantage of the dark and windy night, I headed straight for the county town. Did the female lead just leave like that? This is so sudden. If she doesn't leave now, should she wait to check the calendar and pick an auspicious day to leave? I always felt that the man from earlier today and the female lead have some kind of connection. The person above has uncovered the truth. As I approached the village entrance, a figure suddenly appeared ahead. Frightened, I quickly hid in the grass by the roadside. It's Jack. The male supporting character has appeared. Jack, isn't that Jenny's older brother who's serving in the military? Oh no. In my last life, his sister schemed against me so much. If he finds me, can I still escape? I shivered, hiding in the bushes. Female lead, it's Jack. Jack, what's up with Jack? Why is the barrage so excited? Female lead, come out quickly. Jack won't harm you. Jack won't harm me. Why? Although he is a soldier, he is also Jenny's own brother. What if he, like Kevin Green, is won over by Jenny's few tears? Who can I reason with? No matter how much the barrage urges, I just won't go out at this moment. There is no room for the slightest mistake. I can only trust myself. As Jack's footsteps drew closer, my heart rose to my throat. Fortunately, the footsteps passed by without stopping. I stayed in the grass a little longer. Only after the sound had completely faded did I pick up my things and climb up. Stop right there, A man's abrupt voice came from not far behind, who had already left, appeared behind me at some point. It scared me so much I almost dropped what I was holding. The male lead found the female lead. That's great. Female lead, if there's anyone in this world who wishes you well, besides your adoptive parents and biological parents, it's the male lead. Female lead, quickly turn around, dive into the male lead's arms, and cry your heart out. Me? What kind of wild words are these? Turn around, under Jack's command. I still turned around. The light from the flashlight shone on my face, and I quickly blocked my eyes with my arm. Monica, it's so late. What are you doing here? Oh, female lead. The supporting male lead rushed back specifically for you. He knew your parents died, so he rushed back overnight. Wait, that's not right. The supporting male lead was supposed to rush back half a month after the female lead and male lead got their marriage certificate. The timing doesn't match up. Now, could it be a butterfly effect caused by the female lead no longer being foolish? It doesn't make sense. A butterfly flapping its wings shouldn't affect the male lead thousands of miles away this quickly. Could it be that the male lead has been reborn? The barrage fell silent. I fell silent too. That's a lot of information to take in. I need a moment to process it. According to the comments, in my previous life, Jack came back from the army to look for me. Female lead, in the Original plot: after the male supporting character returned, he specifically went to the Green family to look for you, but Kevin Green drove him away, so you never saw him. Not only that, later the male supporting character found out that the female supporting character had impersonated the female lead, and he was so angry that he broke off relations with her, but by then it was too late. The female lead and her biological parents were already dead. The male lead spent his whole life regretting that he had believed the male protagonist's words and had not personally confirmed the female lead's situation, which led to her tragic death. So after his death, he asked his comrade to bury him not far from the female lead's grave, intending to silently protect her even in death. Woo-woo, so touching. I'm crying to death. When I was a child, my favorite thing was following Kevin Green around and playing with him. My heart and eyes were full of him, and I would chase after him every day, calling him Brother Kevin. Back then, Jack was small and a bit withdrawn. He never played with us, yet he always followed us from a distance. Whenever I tried to approach him, he would turn and run away. It made me think I must be ugly. Later, he joined the army, and we never saw each other again. I can't imagine that someone who had so little to do with me in reality did so much for me in my past life. It's so late. Why are you here? Come on, I'll take you home. Hearing that he was going to take me back, I was so scared that I quickly stepped back. No, I'm not going back. With that, I turned and ran. Jack saw me running toward the village entrance and, feeling uneasy, he followed me. As expected of a soldier, he quickly caught up. Where are you going? It's so late. I'll go with you. It's not safe for you to be alone. He didn't ask me to stop but instead ran alongside me. I didn't stop until I couldn't run anymore. The sky was beginning to lighten, and it wouldn't be long before the Green family realized I was gone. After thinking it over, I decided to trust Jack this once, but I wasn't going to tell him everything. My parents are dead, and I need to leave W Village. After saying that, I immediately warned him, you are not allowed to tell your sister Jenny, nor the Green family, and also, you must not tell anyone in the village. Upon hearing this, Jack just frowned and thought for a few seconds, without asking why. He nodded and agreed. He actually agreed. I told him I wanted to go to City J, but I had no money on me. Without a word, Jack took out money and bought the nearest train ticket to City J. Looking at the two tickets, I was speechless. Jack said, I'm not comfortable with you going alone. As he said this, there was a mix of joy and sorrow in his eyes that I couldn't understand. While waiting for the train, to prevent Jack from tipping off Jenny, I made him stay by my side at all times, not allowing him to leave my sight for more than 3 seconds. Jack smiled. When he smiled, his eyes curved, and his pearly white teeth showed, which was really beautiful, much better looking than that scumbag Kevin Green. To put my mind at ease, Jack would call me whether he was going to buy food or use the restroom. I waited for him at the restroom door, my face as red as a monkey's bottom. This made Jack chuckle again. After 2 days and 2 nights on the train, Jack and I finally arrived in City J. Following the barrage of comments, I found my biological parents home. As the comments said, my biological parents are indeed very good people. The moment they saw me, they knew I was their biological daughter. Even so, I still took out the letter they had left in the box. As for that jade pendant, looking at the man who had appeared in the village a few days ago, standing behind my biological parents, I smiled. I told my biological parents about my experiences over the years and what the Green family had done. My biological mother held me and burst into tears. She said she had been having a dream frequently lately. In my dream, I was beaten, abused, and died a miserable death. She wanted to save me, but couldn't reach me. After waking up, she recalled the scenes from the dream over and over again, but all she could see was me lying in the pigsty, barely alive. She couldn't see the face of the person in her dream, but she was absolutely certain it was me. She drew the pigsty she had seen in her dream. Her father asked someone to help find the place in the drawing. Later, she had another dream, in which she found her daughter, but she always felt that it wasn't her daughter. I told her that the scene she saw in her dream was real. It was something that truly happened in my previous life. Both her biological parents and the barrage comments were shocked, except for Jack. His eyes looked at me like waves. After days of calm and unruffled composure, his expression finally broke. He told me that he had also been reborn in his previous life. Until the very moment of his death, he deeply regretted not saving me, so after being reborn, he rushed back immediately, hoping to save me. This is why he returned 10 days earlier than in his previous life. The deaths of my adoptive parents were not an accident. After I died in my previous life, my soul drifted and I heard some clues. A month later, Jack, who had left, returned. He brought with him the death investigation report of my adoptive parents. The murderers were the village chief and Kevin's father, just because they accidentally overheard their adoptive parents' conversation and knew there was gold buried in my house. The two conspired and murdered their adoptive parents, and Kevin's parents falling into the water was no accident either. The village chief and they had originally planned to drown me while I was saving them, but at that moment, someone happened to be passing by the shore, so they had to give up, and I became an idiot because I was underwater for too long. Kevin's parents put their heads together and thought, so many people in the village want to wipe out my family line. If he married me, they could legitimately claim my family's land and house as their own. As for that gold, if I knew where it was, I wouldn't need them to go through the trouble of searching for it. They calculated everything, but never expected that I would recover so quickly. The village chief and Kevin's parents were sentenced to death for plotting to harm my adoptive parents and me. However, the ones who hurt me the most in my previous life were Kevin Green and Jenny, because they hadn't had the chance to harm me in this lifetime. They couldn't be convicted. After Jack told me this news, he left. I saw him again 6 months later. He was darker than before, and his smile was even more charming. He told me that he and Jenny were not biological siblings. After I left last time, he went back and broke up with Jenny. I reclaimed the house and land my adoptive parents left me from Kevin Green, knowing I didn't want to go back, so he helped me sell the house and the land. He also told me that Kevin Green and Jenny weren't doing well. They became the family of a criminal and faced a lot of scorn in the village. He handed me an iron box containing a bank book and countless receipts. He said it was all the money he had saved over the years to marry me. Ever since I found out I had been reborn, the long-lost bullet comments reappeared. Finally, it's the grand finale. Happy ending. I love it. Throw flowers. Throw flowers. Blessings, blessings. After hearing the stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.